Welcome to my new series, Competitive Guides. Since the start of the One Piece TCG, the meta is always shifting. Now with the introduction of the new ban list, the meta's flipped upside down. Also, the new set Royal Blood has just been released. This has left a lot of people with the question, what is the next One Piece TCG meta? On this new series, Competitive Guides, we're going to take a deep dive into every single color in the One Piece card game. We're going to find the best leaders for every color. No, not you, Purple Shanks! And we're going to play them on the ranked sim. This will help players who want to play more competitively, play at locals, play with friends, or maybe you just want to get a few more wins on the sim. If you love deck profiles, you need to make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get into the deck profile and today's colors. Episode 4, as we're down to our final 3 colors, today's deck profile is going to be on the color blue. Blue, no longer Doflamingo, or is it? Alright guys, we're on to blue, as you just saw when we spun the wheel, and I'm super excited to get into this one. I think this one's going to surprise a lot of people. It definitely surprised me whenever I saw the OP10 bans, that this deck would be the best blue deck in the format. I'm still very surprised. I'm kind of flabbergasted that because of this card just being so strong, and this card being so strong, and this leader effect being so strong, and these cards being amazing, I'm surprised this deck is still the top deck even whenever you take out Jinbei. With that being said, most of you know what this deck does, so we're going to have a quick rundown of the deck list. I just want to say big shout out to Marcos from the Chicago Collecticon. My boy, I just want to say what's up. I told you you'd get a shout. That video is going to be out soon for our vending side of things from the Chicago Collecticon, and all the One Piece we picked up. It was crazy. At least 2 blue bottoms were picked up, and they're now in the PC. You can see a couple back there. We have 3 in the closet right now, so blue bottoms and a lot more in even a black label. So that video is going to be out very soon for the vending side of Chicago Collecticon, meeting a lot of people and as much footage as I could get. Anyways, let's get into the competitive guide of Blue Doflamingo. You should know what this leader does. If you know OP9, OP10. When attacking, times 2 Dawn, tap 1 Dawn, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a 7 Warlords type character with a cost 4 or less, you may play that card rested. So this is really strong because we play out Weevil, which draws a card and is a 6k. It plays out Trafalgar Law, which returns a character on your side to return one of your opponent's 4 costs or lower, or it returns 2 of your characters, meaning we can return low cost characters like Perona, which has an on-play effect that's very strong, Buggy, which has a strong on-play effect and is a 2k counter, or Sengoku to the hand, which has a strong on-play effect to search the top 5 for a 7 Warlords type. It can also cheat out Crocodile, being able to bounce a character, usually not being used, but it's an option if we need to just spam out a body, or we just blind release our leader ability and just say run it. We have Boa Hancock to blocker, looks at top 3, stacks the deck and gives your leader rest at dawn. We have Jozu to bounce a character. This is not playable from the leader effect, but it is so strong. Bouncing one of your characters to bounce one of your opponent's 6 cost or lower, which 6 cost is so strong right now, especially 5 cost. 5 cost specifically, because you really just take away the tempo. If you can do Trafalgar Law into then Jozu, into then Gravity Blade, you basically just control the game at that point. Really strong effects. We also have the Gecko Moria, which can be played off the leader effect, adding one of your 7 Warlords from the trash to your hand, or Draco Mihawk, which can also be played as a 2k counter, or for the leader effect, drawing 2 cards and trashing 2 cards when attacking, allowing you to filter to find certain options that aren't searchable, like this Red Rock and this Gravity Blade, bottom decking anything on the board with Red Rock, and 2 6 cost or lowers with Gravity Blade. And finally, Martial D Teach. Place 1 card from your hand at the top of your deck, attach 2 Rested Dawn to your leader, basically meaning your leader effect is free and you're getting to stack it up to how you need it, being very, very... That's going to be Blue Doflamingo. Let's get into the competitive guide, some competitive scenes, some ranked sim, and see how we do today with Blue Doflamingo in the OP10 format, the best deck in blue. Next week, we either have purple or black, or the next video, not next week. Let's see what we can do. Card show this weekend, April 19th at the Winston-Baseball Stadium, palcardshows.com. I love you. Like, subscribe, all jazz. Anyways, join the Discord down below. Let's get into the game. As we're getting into this first game on the sim, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. For 1,000 subs, we finally hit the big mark. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know I look bad today. Got everything going on. We're playing the wrong deck. Let's run this back after we get through this game, because this should be an easy win, and we'll lock them up in the next one. Looks like we're starting at 215.8 million berry bounty because we're a winner. Now let's play some Bonney. Let's play Doflamingo this time. Looks like we're going to be taking on Boa here, and this is a very weak hand, so we are going to mulligan that because that is way too much of nothing. We're going to jump down with a Sengoku to start searching the top of our deck. We are going to choose to grab, we already have a Weevil, so we're going to grab a Boa blocker and stack these 2 guys on the top just so we can maybe find some Jozus for tempo later. And then we're going to blind rip off the leader effect because we do not have a Martial D Teach in hand. So that's going to be a little tough. We're going to move this to the side, but you can see we're at 215.8 million berry bounties. Move that off to the side. Now you don't have to worry about it. We're all good to just play the game. It is what it is. We're going to swing in for 7, probably just take the free rip, because, I mean, or we just Sengoku Buggy, stack for next turn. I don't think that's worth it. I think it's worth taking the chance, because we know we have 3 of our targets on the top of our deck. I guess we deploy it. It's going to take up a swing, I guess, just so we don't continue to gather tempo from this Martial D Teach. It's going to take up as a pseudo blocker. But you have to think about this mathematically of we've played one of our Sengokus. We put 2 targets that we're going to whiff off our leader effect on the bottom of our deck. We also have 2 targets on our hand, so 5 targets total. They're going to swing 5 at us, and we are going to take aggressively because they ignored our Martial D Teach, or they put it back in our hand, which is going to be very strong for what they're trying to do. But the cool thing is we could technically bounce theirs back right here. Just put more cards into their hand, putting less pressure on the board. I'm honestly not against that, putting down the Martial D Teach and then cheating out the Trafalgar Law. We could also just go for a simple Weevil play. I think having this on the board just for later might not be bad, because now we can send 1 card from our hand. Oh wait, cancel, because we want to play down Sengoku first. Look at the top 5 of our deck and grab something for later. With them possibly putting cards in our trash, doesn't seem like much of an option right now. So we may just go for more counter. We have 2 2Ks, and some counter would not be bad, but possibly needing the Gecko Mori for later. I think we'll grab the Gecko. Some people may not agree with that play. I don't think it's a horrible play at all. And then what we can do here is now use the Teach effect, putting the Law on the top of our deck, giving 2 Rested Dawn, and then we can swing in for a solid 8 here, cheating out the Trafalgar Law, deploying it. Do we bounce back their Trafalgar Law? I think so, because then that's going to put them off tempo. So we're going to bounce one of our Sengokus, bounce their Law. They're probably going to use it for counter here. They give us a Kaya and a Buggy. They're going to have 7 cards, so they can't just straight up Gravity Blade or Red Rock. Not that they can Gravity Blade anyways, because they only have 6 Dawn. So we should be very chilling here. They're going to swing 5 at face. Are we worried about that? I don't think so. I don't think they can Jozu either. I think we may just take, which may seem crazy to some people, but we can develop blockers. We have going to 7, so Bow is not horrible on the next turn. Yeah, let's just take aggressively. I think that might seem wild, but I don't think they're going to Kai us this turn, so we should be pretty safe here. The cool thing is we're at 7. One of those Jozus would be very nice just to bounce this thing out of the way, but we don't have it, so we're going to accept our fate at this point. We may play down the Weevil to draw an additional card, and then we can use the Martial D Teach effect, giving 2 Rested Dawn, and really develop the board. So we're going to go with this, and then we could even actually go... Well, we can't Perona. We don't have anything in our trash for the Jinbei yet, so that won't be the best option. What we could do here is Sengoku first to search the top 5, grabbing possibly more counter. At this point, I think the Buggy would be good just for the counter and having the cheap character. Even though we already have one, it's not going to be probably the best option out of what we just saw. Yes, we should probably be stacking the top of our deck because we are going through a lot of it. And then we can play down nothing. We could literally just, send 1 card to the top of our deck, which is going to be the Boa Hancock. Give 2 Rested Dawn to our leader, and then we're going to swing in for 7. You'll see why in just a second. Yes, we're swinging out of order here. That is going to be okay. Deploy a card, stack the top of our deck. We really don't want any of these, so we're just going to throw them to the bottom of the deck, and I think we're going to specifically do it in that order, just hit a Perona later, because we don't really need any of those. We're going to give 1 Dawn to our Teach and really get some abilities out of our Teach, just swinging in for a simple 5. So they should just take the 7, counter out of the 5, because you can easily see that we are going to swing in for 5. But it looks like they may counter out aggressively with a bunch of 1Ks, so we're going to take 1 more card out of their hand. It shows us they've already, used the 2 2Ks from earlier. They take the 5, which means they should have just countered the second swing. They should bottom deck our Weevil right here, and we'll pass the turn to them. That's going to be a great trigger, bottom decking a 4 cost in this mirror matchup. Mirror being said very lightly, because it's not much of a mirror here. 5 there, we're just going to take, and then 8 into us, we are going to take again. I know some people may think this is crazy, but I'm telling you, it's really what we need to do at this point. So we are going to play out there's a lot of play lines in this deck, so that's something we have to think about. We only have the Teach in our trash, so Gecko still does not have much of an effect, and so we should not use Gravity Blade. This is going to get rid of these 2 bodies, and not do too much for our board state itself, which is our goal at the moment. I think what we'll do is start with just placing a Boa Hancock, seeing what's at the top of our deck, and then start placing on the top because we do have great options. So we can leader, draw leader here, which is going to put us in a very safe spot. We're going to put 1 on lead. We could even go down with another Boa here and then get another Rested Dawn just for the safety net and then be able to bounce this blocker back. So we're going to do the same thing, start placing on top, return cards. Now we have 2 blockers on the board. We will not remove the Boa Hancock, but we do have the 2 blockers. We'll swing in for 7, deploy this, bounce the Sengoku to bounce the Law. It's going to put them to 4 cards in hands, forcing them to invest a Dawn next turn more than likely, and then we can just pass. We're showing our opponent we don't have much counter, which is obviously not true because of the amount of cards in our hand. They have not played a putting down, which is really good for us. That's going to be our biggest worry at the moment. That's why a lot of people will counter out aggressively and why we should start now, because having 10 cards is a lot. So you can easily call this a misplay, but I think going against a deck like this, knowing they could only have so many, I don't think we're too stressed about it. So now I think is when we will start countering out. And I think the Teach will help with us gaining tempo. The Sengoku is definitely good for searching. We don't have much in our trash, so we'll give him a Gecko Moria here, and then we're going to give him 2 2K counters because we don't want to lose our board. That's really what we've been saving cards and why we're countering out aggressively here. So we choose certain cards based off what they are. We know what the Weevil is at the top of our deck, so what we can do here is play out the Gravity Blade, swing in for 5. So we're going to start with a 5. If they want to give us the blocker, that's going to be good as well because we can go heavier into the Boa, something like that. They should just give us a card out of hand here. Yep, that's going to be a very good choice. So we send both of these to the bottom. We know exactly what's at the top of our deck. So we're going to swing in for 7 and cheat out this Weevil and drawing an additional card. Basically giving us another Gravity Blade, which is going to be very strong. We have 2 more 2Ks and a bunch of 1Ks. We just pass it to them. So they don't have a 10 drop. 10 drop would have been not so great, but would have only done so much for them as well. Knowing that they could only bounce 1 character. They play down their own law. They can bounce the Sengoku, bounce one of our Weevils more than likely because it is not counterable, or it has no counter on the card, I should say. So now they could just maybe swing 10 into Law, which we will give up. It's not worth, saving something like that, especially knowing how much we can spam out this board. They're going to swing 7 into us, leaving 3 active, telling me they're probably playing down another one of these Doffy blockers. And I think we should take here. Again, may seem crazy, but we get the trigger that we needed. We bottom deck their character as they did to us. And I think that was a solid option. I don't think that was the most necessary, but they're going to play down 2 Laws and a Sengoku. Sengoku replacing itself with another Law from hand. So that's going to be very obnoxious for what we're trying to do. So what we're going to do is start with a Sengoku. Sengoku is going to find us a play here more than likely. So the cool thing is we miss another one of these. We could go for the 2K counter at this point because we have a lot of plays already in hand, and we also have another Sengoku. Now what we can do is either choose to Perona or choose to Teach. I think Teach is more valuable at this point. Even though we have such a strong board already, I think that's definitely going to be very good. So we will be, if we Sengoku, then we're going to put Law to bounce something. So here's how you have to do this properly. We played on Sengoku first to search the top of the deck. I think we're going to check our trash, see if there's something we want to grab back. I don't see it, so we're going to skip on the Gecko Moria because Mihawk's going to have more of an effect. And then now we're going to play down Teach. We use Teach Effect here to add a card from our hand to the top of our deck and give 2 Rested Dawn to our leader. Now we know we're going to swing in for 7. The cool thing is what we can do here is swing in for the 7 first, then play our additional character down. So we're going to swing in for 6 with Law. It's going to be very simple and exactly what we need to do, but just in case there was a trigger, we did use the Teach Effect first. We're going to swing in for 7 here, use the card action. We're going to bounce back our Sengoku. That opened up that spot for the next character we're about to play down. So now we play down the Weevil to draw an additional card and then pass. So now if they do play down a 10 drop here, which would bounce our Teach and one of our smaller characters, 10 drop wouldn't be great here, I'm going to be honest. But if they do, we do have the red rock for it. We have a ton of counter in hand. We're sitting in a pretty good spot. They play down their Law, which we did know they had in hand. And we have a great amount of counter as well. They're just going to swing 5, meaning 6. Maybe they Jozu bouncing their Law to bounce one of our characters. Obviously, we're going to counter out with a Perona. Really free up the hand because we do have a Sengoku. We do have a Gravity Blade. We have basically whatever we need. They bounce back our Teach to hand, which I don't think we're too worried about Teach going back to our hand at this point of the game. So cool thing is we could Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, whatever we need to do. But I don't know if that's the play here. It definitely would take a little aggression off the board, and then we just swing 6, 6, 6. Basically just going double 6s is going to be very strong, and it's going to help with the tempo on the board, but we could also go for developing more bodies. But I think at this point in the game we have the counter, so maybe we'll just swing in for 6, see what they do. If they take, maybe we continue to swing aggressively. They give us 2 1Ks, so that's going to be a very strong information here. We're going to swing in for another 6 at our opponent because now we see them block. We'll go in for another 6, and then if they take, we're just going to swing in all the way, or we can Gravity Blade because we can basically remove their whole board. And the cool thing is we don't have to go for this to end the game. We should not. I always do these where I don't have to go for game and I choose to. We can just bottom deck their characters. They have 0 life. We just Perfume Femur if we find it. I don't even know if we're running Perfume Femur in the build that we went through. We're not. So we're going to be able to easily split knowing that they have a bunch of 1Ks. They could have been baiting there as a high level player because we are in a higher bounty, It definitely would put us in a spot that we should worry about. We still have a good amount of counter. They finally found what they needed. 2, 3, 4. We're fine to just take here or let it ride. This is just simple math. So 2 cards in hand. At most, it can be 2 of these, 2 2Ks, right? So we just swing in for 9, and then 9 is a guaranteed game. Simple and easy. GG's to our opponent. So we're going to swing in for another 9. Technically, we could go 5 with the Sengoku and then get the 1 card and put the rest in. That's GG's. They had no counter. GG's to our opponent. That was a fun one. We won the Boa matchup, which a lot of people say is very difficult, but we took it on properly. I think we filtered through a lot, and they didn't find their pudding early, and we weren't punished by it. That's going to be very good. 242.6 million berry bounty. Let's check that out. Boom, on to the next match. So we're up against a 409 million berry bounty. I think we want to take first from them to take them off the first curve. I could be wrong about this, but I really don't know. We do have our bounce law for early game or late game, whatever we really need. We have a Sengoku to filter, but I don't love this. This is usually why you run the 10-drop Kaido in this deck list to take on Bonney. I think we mulligan that hand, as nice as it may be. You may need to let me know down below if that is the correct option or not. So we're going to start placing on top. We're going to draw into the Gravity Blade, draw into the 2K, know our laws at the top. Just so we can swing in aggressively. So 1 into 3, 3 we play the Weevil, draw the Mihawk, then we're going into 5, 5 we're going to play the Boa and probably nothing else at that point. So we draw into the Sengoku, draw into the Law, or we could draw into the Law, draw into the Sengoku next turn, or be able to stack the top 3 and move the Law around. So let's stack the top 3 and move the Law around with the Boa in the future. So these are the things you have to think about as a Doffy player, is like 5 turns in advance to be a high level Doffy player. Are we the highest level? No. But do we have a lot of fun? Yeah. Oh yeah. We're going to swing in for 7. We're going to cheat out a Weevil, draw a card, and they're going into 4, so that's going to put us on a very good curve here. We always usually take first, so I think first is what you want in the Bonney matchup as well. There are a few matchups you do want to take 7, including the mirror match, if I am correct. If I remember correctly, I think we go to the Marshall D Teats in this matchup. This matchup specifically, because we'll be able to bounce this Perona very soon, so we can definitely get it back, which is going to be very good. What they can do here is they can search and then search. The question is, do we worry about the searchers, or do we let them continue to gather a large hand? That is hard to say. They choose not to search, which is going to be very good for what we're trying to do here. So what we can do is play down Boa Hancock, look at the top 3, really filter it around, and then swing in for 6 with our Weevil, or 7 with our Weevil actually, and then let the leader get rested, which is going to be okay, and then we'll play down Sengoku. So I think that's going to be the best bet. So start placing on top. We're going to use the bounce law to bounce one of these characters on the next turn, kind of putting them off the curve of what they're trying to do, in my opinion. Next turn we're kind of expecting a smoker, which I don't like, and then so next turn we draw, leader, draw. I don't know if I want to draw into the Weevil that bad, especially not having Jinbei. It's not as strong. We could also leader effect next turn. We're going to be on 7, so then we'll still have 4 Dawn to play out something from hand. Maybe we draw into the Law to play it out, and then leader effect into the Weevil, and I think we'll go with that. I think that's going to be a solid option. We also have the Jozu as a play if we choose not to Law, but at least that gives us the option to draw an additional card, not really grabbing anything from trash with Gecko Moria. And then we'll put the Rested Dawn on Weevil. We are going to swing in for a solid 7 here, because 7 is going to be very strong. They should take aggressively if they counter out. I think that is incorrect in my opinion. Resting down our leader, and then we will search the top 5. So I guess we should have Sengoku'd first. So we're just going to pass the turn, because I did misplay there. 100% should have used the Sengoku before the Boa, because now the stack would be messed up. But if the stack was bad, maybe we could look at the top 5. Maybe there's reasons to it, you know, not to do that, but definitely should have, in my opinion. They played on Cavendish. Now they're going to swing in for 6 at our Weevil. We will probably give them the Sengoku here, especially because we know our stack. We may bounce back the Cavendish on this next turn just to get a strong tempo play. Now our opponent will search. We're not too worried about that. Because we're going to use the Jozu, we're not going to worry about which order they tap down our characters. So we know we're going to lose one of our characters no matter what. We know we're not leader affecting here. We know the top card of our deck. We're going to swing in for 2, and then he can choose to basically put down whatever he wants, and we can go from there. More than likely, this puts him in the position to rest our leader, so we'll still get our 2 6K swings in, because he doesn't want our win attacking effect to go off. Now, did he do it properly? I 100% think so, because we were not about to do that. We could also Gravity Blade, get rid of these 2 characters, and then swing in for 5 and 6. It's not a horrible option for sure, but it's not the best option as well, because that I'd rather just get rid of the Cavendish, bounce back our characters. So we're going to go in for 6 and 6 here, in my opinion. So 6 and then Jozu, bounce Perona. We could also just go in, we could have gone in for 5, 6, re-Perona'd, but I'm okay kind of with the stack we already have, and I'd rather have the counter in hand for now. So we're going to go in for 6, and then we were supposed to go in for 6, but then I misplayed again because I stopped thinking properly. But hey, if they're just going to give us counter out of hand, I don't really care, honestly. If I'm taking cards out of their hand, I'm feeling good about it. We don't have a way to just bounce this without Jozu, so we're going to Jozu bounce this character and leave one active. One active, just he's thinking we have something. Let me tell you right now, this man is thinking we have something here. Because how many times have we done this? So we get to bounce this back on curve. It's going to be a 1k counter in hand for now, really putting them off, which I really like. That's kind of the goal with this mid-range strategy, is just basically being a Boa. We have a Red Rock, we have a Gravity Blade. We can bottom deck their Useless Captain Kid if they choose to play it on the next turn, because obviously it wouldn't do anything on this turn. So we will give them a 1k counter, which is going to be the Perona. Perona's going to be good for us, because next turn we could use the Gecko Moria to grab the Teach back from trash, grab this, replay it out, bounce one of our characters, bounce the Perona, bounce the Rosinante. No, we'll give them the Perona here. We still have 5 life, so we're in a very safe spot. I think that's going to be the best bet for what we're trying to do. They rest 1, and then what we can do is just swing in for 7 at life and then 5 at the Bonney. I think that's going to be good. Oh, Gecko's the next card, actually. So what we could do is Leader Effect into the Gecko here. Swing in for 7 at face. We need to kill this Bonney. We need to make sure they're not continuing to search. They do grab a 2k counter. So we should swing 7 at face and then 5 at Bonney, choosing not to Leader Effect. So, yeah, we're going to go 7 at face here. This is going to be a complex play, just to let you know. They should tap down the Weevil. They choose to go for the Leader Effect, so that's going to be good for us as well. Because that was probably the smart play, just because they know we need to go for this Bonney. So we may choose not to. They tap out of the 7 at face. We remove the Bonney pretty easily here. And I think what we'll do, actually, is Law, bounce, Boa. No, because there's nothing to bounce here. And we don't have the Dawn to continue going. So what we could do is Weevil to draw a card. We know it's going to be... We know exactly what card it's going to be. Then we can play down Gecko Moria, return our Teach or a Perona in hand. We could actually grab Perona here, because one of these is going to be frozen anyways. I think we go for Teach just in case, then we pass the turn. Next turn, they should drop the 10 drop more than likely, freezing 3 of our characters, freezing 1 with Carrot, and then start actively swinging into face. That's at least what I'm assuming, but it depends on the Bonney build because they don't always run Rosinante. Just understand this is a very difficult matchup here. It's very complex and there's a lot going on all the time. So it's going to be hard to say. I think what we'll do is let this one go and really vibe check if they are going to do the 10 drop or not. It gives less power if they 10 drop. And now they may swing out into the Weevil instead, because if they choose to go 5 in a face, we know they're going to freeze our 3 characters. They could have done that anyways, so we didn't want to lose a card out of that in case that is what they do. Because we can Red Rock the 10 drop if they choose to do it, but it gets rid of our answers for the 10 drop Kaido, or I mean 8 drop Kid. 8 drop Kid is going to be very, very annoying for what we're trying to do. I see you can see our bounty up here. I'm going to move that out of the way because it's getting in my way and I'm getting tired of it, especially in a very difficult matchup like this. We are very underhanded here, very unlikely to win, and it looks like they're doing exactly as we said. So we're definitely going to take the card to hand, finally taking a life, which is going to be good. If we get a trigger, we probably won't use it, to be honest. I think we're going in for the Red Rock instead. We take this aggressively. Now we get the Jozu. Jozu's definitely not bad. Ooh, Gravity Blade's looking really good. Oh. Gravity Blade ain't looking so good. Ooh. Interesting plays here. So, Tashigi would say, green characters other than Tashigi would be removed from play due to your opponent's fest. You may instead rest this character. Ooh. So what we'll have to do here is Marshall D Teach effect. Watch this. This is about to be crazy, guys. This is about to be crazy. We need a way to move this, right? So we played on Teach, use Teach effect, add Law to the top of the deck, put 2 on our leader, and we're going to swing in at our opponent for 7, use the card action to deploy our Law over top of Jozu, because Jozu's going to be frozen anyway, and we're going to remove that. Well, we're going to need a character to bounce back, so maybe we bounce back. We should have swung in for 5 first, but we have to go through this, and they would have taken our leader effect away. That's what puts us in this tough position. So I think we could replace the Teach, but then we don't get the Teach back. Whatever we get, we're getting something back to hand. So maybe we replace Jozu, bounce, Teach. Oh, they have to leader effect first. So now we're going to bounce probably whatever they rest here. That would probably actually make the most sense, because we could bounce Weevil back to bounce Tashigi back to hand, and now we can use the Tashigi as counter, but he can't use it to save his characters. And we can just simply swing in for 5, and then swing in for 6, just getting cards out of hand, hopefully. And then we can use the Gravity Blade to remove the 2 5 costs on the board. But if we did in any other order, we could not have used Gravity Blade. We could not play out this Law raw. That would have just done nothing for us. So now we're going to swing in for another 6. They should give us a 2k here if they take. That's going to be very strong. We know we're moving these 2 bodies, and they have to counter out in this aggressive position, so there's no reason to swing the bodies. We're going to get rid of them, bottom deck them, pass the turn, and now we continue to have the tempo. We continue. They don't. So we're going to have this 6 cost play on the next turn, or we can just bounce something and then swing very heavy into our opponent's character. It really depends on what they do here. We only have 3k counter, which is not so great, but being able to remove their big bodies is going to feel magnificent. What they should do is swing 5 into our character. Yep, we will let that one rot. We will let that go. Then they're going to swing 8 into a character, a different character, or they're going to 10 drop, and I think they should 10 drop at this point in the game. So we're going to give up the board here a little bit, but that's going to be a-okay with what we're trying to do. Okay, 8. We are going to let go as well because we can continue swimming out the board. We still have a lot of life. We have a red rock here, and they have 10 Dawn active, so we could easily see a 10 Dawn play. We could also just see an 8-drop kid. 8-drop kid getting removed from our red rock in just a moment. So they go for another Cavendish play into Tashigi, into Rosanante, and so now we have options to choose from. We could play it on this for 4, tap 1, get rid of the Rosanante, but then that just rests the Tashigi, so that's not going to be so good. We could go Jozu, Tashigi, bounce back Law. Law won't be able to do much for us here. This is going to be a very tough position. They're really trying to develop this Cavendish, and they really, really need it, it looks like. So having a Law in hand would have been nice. We could Jozu, bounce Law, bounce Tashigi, and then play down Law, bounce Teach, bounce Rosanante. But that basically just puts us in a very similar position to what we're already in. And I don't really like that too much, because then now they are gaining the tempo on the board. So I'm having a tough time here trying to decide. We do get a 7k on the board, which would be nice. What could we do to have an additional Dawn? Because that would be 4 and 6. What we could do is Teach Effect. Ooh, so what we could do is swing in for nothing. We could just bounce the Law with Jozu, put the Law to the top, and then still have 3 Dawn. We could Jozu into Teach, play down Teach for 2. No, because we need to be able to use the Law effect here to bounce these 2 characters back to hand, because that gives them more to hide behind. So I think what we're going to do here is Jozu, bounce Law, bounce Tashigi, correct. Now we are going to Teach Effect, put Law to the top, put 2 Dawn on our leader, and then we can swing in for... We could go very heavy into Rosanante, but we know we just gave them back a 2k, so that would only be, what, 10 and 8? They get out of that pretty easily, but what we could do instead is swing out... Oh, we could also just swing like this, but then they just rest down our Teach and they're fine. We might as well go big, right? We're going to leave 1 active, make them think we still have something. We're going to bounce back the Teach. Oh, what we could have done is bounce the Teach back and then play it back out, because that's literally what we said. We're going to bounce the 2 characters back, swing in for 9, and pass. Now we at least have somewhat of a big body on the board. We still have the red rock to get rid of anything like a Eustace Captain Kidd, as long as they don't play out that Tashigi again. Tashigi being very annoying. We're just going to let this die, because it's going to die from all these swings anyways. We're going to let them swing it at our face. Basically take away the strength of the 10 drop here. They play down the 8 drop Eustace Captain Kidd. They're going to give him a Arrested Dawn. They're going to swing in for 6, which is kind of interesting. I would have thought a little bit bigger. I think we are going to counter out of this. We're going to take the 8, of course. They're going to put 1 Dawn. They're going to cheat out the Tashigi. They're going to cheat out the Rosanante. That's going to suck, but it is what it is. That's about the position we're in, to be honest. So this is going to cheat out the Tashigi. Should be, at least. So them still having this card is going to be very annoying. We're now going to have to figure this out very quickly. We could grab the Law back. Law bounce to Shigi. Having that Teach on the board last turn would have been crazy. It's really what we needed, if you couldn't tell. So we don't know what's in their hand other than what they have. We've already used the Apu that we did know. So we could play out Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria grabbing... only grab so many things. Could grab back the Law, which Law could be good. We could draw an extra card, play out Teach, swing in for 9 at the Eustace Captain Kidd, basically forcing a 2k out. I definitely think we needed that teach on the last turn. After all those misplays, I think having that teach though right here to play out Gecko Moria, return to or being able to put Gecko Moria on the top, return Law, play out Law, bounce teach back, bounce to Shigi, Red Rock, because we'd have the 6 Dawn in my opinion, possibly. I can't think of it on the top of my head. I don't want to start with a draw. We need to start with swings usually, but if we need to just develop a board, we could also just Red Rock the Shigi. Let's just Red Rock to Shigi. That seems like we have no options now. We can play out Teach. We can use Teach effect. We could spam out another body on the board and swing in for 8. So we could put out Weevil on the top of the deck. This is basically just going to get rid of their aggression here, helping us just swing in for 8. At the kid, use the card action to draw an additional card. We do finally get a Sengoku, and as long as they don't have an additional Tashigi, we should be safe just to bottom deck this kid, and then we would be able to play out the Gecko to grab the Law, to at least have the Law in the future. So they get rid of the Teach because they know they can remove the Teach very easily. Jozu would have to swing Kid, so we can't swing anything. Very strong play by the Bonney player. This is a very difficult matchup for us, boys. Even when we're sweating like this, we are still sweating like this. Like, alright. A 10 drop coming in would be very sucky. They play down Hody Jones. Hody Jones being a very strong card here. They're going to swing in for 7. 7 at life. They're going to get 2 back. I think we just take. I think we're in the position here where we just take. What is it? It's going to be 9. Well, it probably will be 5, 9, 9, 9. So 7 take, 9 take, 9 take. So we need to be able to get out of a 9 and a 5. 7, 9, 9, 9, 5. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. We should be able to get out of all this. If it keeps them from going from our board, that's not the greatest start. I don't like where this is going. Yeah, that's not too great. Definitely not too great. This is going to be very difficult here. They could go 9. If they choose to go into the bodies, I think that's an incorrect play because we did take the 7. But our goal is to kind of take them in here. They're going to go 5 into 3. We're going to have to give that up. Now it looks like they are going to go for board. It's the similar thing to what I told you earlier where if you don't have to go for game, you don't have to go for game. Because now, if we don't counter to this, though, it's going to be a lot in the face, but it's going to put very low hand size on us. Well, they're not in a position basically anymore to play down what they need to. They do have the Rosinante, but we don't have a way to remove the Rosinante just yet. So what could we do? We could play out Gecko. Gecko grab Law. But we still need to have 4 Dawn to be able to Red Rock their useless Captain Kids. This is putting us in a very difficult position unless we just top deck a Law here. Law is going to be our saving grace, it looks like, because we need to be able to Red Rock and win. Oh, dude. We can't play out Law, though, because we have to Red Rock, so that's going to be 6 of our Dawn. We only have 4 Dawn to play with next turn. This is putting us in a very tricky position, I'm not going to lie to you guys. But we can't counter out of all these unless we 2-1 and then 1, 2, 3, but we can't even do that, so we have to just let it go. At the end of the day, we have to let it go. There's not much we can do about that situation. This is going to put us in a very, very tough spot. So they're only going to have 2 Dawn here. They're going to swing in for, what, 10? Yeah, we're just going to have to let that go as well. And they're going to swing in at our life for 8, which we're going to have to take aggressively, which does put us in a very bad spot. We do drop a 2K counter here, so we need to figure out what we are totally drawing up. We could Red Rock the Kid here, and then play out a blocker. And then next turn, play Teach. Well, Teach won't do much here. We're going to have to Red Rock. What we could do here is swing in for 7 at face. You could also just swing 5 at face. And play out Boa Blocker. Because we can't Boa Blocker first, so they just rest it down. That's the only sucky part. You could also just teach Sengoku to get more cards in hand and then have this for the next turn, because we have to go for game. But then we don't really have a way to win. We have to play down the Boa, which does suck. Wait. If we can survive, we can win, thanks to this Crocodile. So we need to have 2 Dawn. We can swing in for 8 at face, right? Cheat this out by tapping 1, tap down another 1, bounce the Rosinante. We need to just hope they don't play out another blocker, basically. We freaking misplayed. I literally said to wait to swing to play the Boa, and I did it anyways. Bro, can I not keep my thoughts together today? Well, he had the Hody Jones anyways. What did it matter? 7 at face. We are going to have to counter out. We are just losing this game. We were put in a horrible position. They basically just go for game here. Swinging for another 7. Then they're going to go 8, 8, 9. So even if we get out of this, we basically just can't win. Mathematically. Because 8, we would need 2 2Ks. And then they can just swing in for 9. And then that would be 1, 2, 3. And we just lose. Man, we were in such an advantageous position until we weren't. Really. Bonney is just a really hard matchup for Doffy, though. I think we got close. You heard me tell you every time I misplayed. Because as soon as I did it, I caught it. Welcome to Competitive Guides, where we make misplays and we learn to get better. Alright, on to the next one. GG's. Blue versus blue at this level of the game is very interesting. Dawn -4. Return one of your up to 1 character that costs 5 or less to the owner's hand. Interesting. This guy has 190.8 million berry bounty while we are at 226. Ooh, and they choose to go first. We're going to be going second here. We could go ahead and Marshall D teach. We could Perona on the next turn. I like the bounce. I like the gravity blade. Let's keep this just because we don't really know what they're going to do. Here is our bounties right here. We are in ranked for our last match here because these games are running long. I hope you're enjoying this series where we actually take a competitive play, if you do say so. We do get the red rock off the top as well, which may be good if they do play down a 10 drop, you know, mother trucking thing. I guess we go ahead and get the teach on the board. We could also Perona. Perona. Start placing on the top. We are going to draw, leader, draw. Will we leader on 5? No. Well, we could teach because we're going into 4. Leader. So next turn we're just going to leader. So maybe 1. No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, keep it like this. Draw, leader, draw. Do we leader on 5? We teach on 5. Play down teach. Maybe don't use its effect. Or we will draw and then teach. Yeah, do this. And then we'll just pass. I don't know. It's very complicated here. Very complicated. Very interesting. They're just going to swing 8 at us. We're going to take aggressive. Per usual, we're just going to swing solid little attack at them. We're going to swing 8. Oh, we're going to draw off this. That's going to throw up our whole dynamic that we just did. We did not think about the Weevil drawing cards because we are bad Doffy players. I also haven't played One Piece in a while. Again, I was at Chicago Collecticon. I know, I keep talking about it. Selling Pokemon and One Piece cards. So many cool cards were sold and picked up. We should counter out of this, in my opinion. Probably just give them the Gecko Moria. Could have also just Geckoed on the next turn into 6. We do not find what we need yet, and they choose to play down the law. The law is going to be very strong here, but we can law them right back if we need to, or we can just lull them. What we could do is Weevil. We could, next card is what? Gecko Moria. We don't really like that, to be honest. I don't really want to cheat on Gecko Moria because Gecko Moria cannot grab Gecko Moria. So what we could do is play down Marshall D Teach. We could put this on the top, get the 2 rested Dawn. Could swing in twice at our opponent. None of these really sound like good options, man. I just wish I had a Boa blocker right now in my hand. So what we may do instead is just play down Buggy. Oh, what we can do actually, this could be interesting. Bounce Perona, bounce Law, play down Teach. Could add the card to the top of the deck. We'd swing it for 7 still. Not against this. This sounds interesting. Or we could play down Weevil, draw a card, then play down Teach. Oh, watch this. Weevil draw. This is going to be very interesting, okay? It's going to look really weird. Marshall D Teach. Use Marshall D Teach effect. Correct. We just swing it for 5. I think I'm thinking too much. I think we just swing it for 5. They could be playing pudding here. Whatever. It is what it is. Pudding, whatever. Do it. We're just going to pass turn there. I think we just set up the teach for later. Just swing it for the 5. What I was thinking there is, like, could swing in for 7, losing 1 card in hand just in case they did pudding. Wouldn't it be the worst thing in the world? I want to give them another 1K. I think I just want to give them a Gecko Moria out of hand. Because we might as well. We're going to swing in for 5 more. We are now going to give them a Crocodile. They have 7 active, so that's telling me they're going to Jozu, bounce back a character, or Gravity Blade. Oh my lordy Lantha. What we're going to do here is play down Buggy. Buggy's going to search the top of the deck and choose to bottom all of this. Holy cow, this is miserable. Like, what are we doing here? Like, do we even have this in the deck possibilities? Okay, what we could do is actually Weevil, draw this. Not going to be good either. We can't even bottom this because it's Buggy. Darn tootin'. So what we're going to do here is draw the Sengoku, play out the Teach, might as well. We could just Gravity Blade right back. Say screw them. No matter what, this is horrible. We're going to swing in for 5. We're going to Gravity Blade right back. I'm feeling it. Whatever. At this point, whatever. Who even cares? We're gonna Gravity Blade them right back. I'm just gonna do it just because. I know this is a competitive series, but you gotta have some fun once in a while. I bottom decked a 1-cost character. Are you gonna tell me I'm not having fun here? We also have to have some enjoyable times in the One Piece card game. But at the end of the day, this is a competitive guide, so maybe I shouldn't have done that. Sometimes, though, you just gotta mess around a little bit. We do still have the Red Rock in case we play a big 8-drop, 9-drop body, but we gave them basically no effect off of it, so they're gonna usually probably spam the board here. At least that's what I would assume. They get to draw a card, they grab the Crocodile, which returns a 2-cost to hand. They play down the Buggy, or the Boa, bottom, getting rid of our Perona, and they swing in for 7 here. 7 we're gonna take. We definitely can just easily take that. Now we can search the top of our deck and then stack the top of our deck. We do not find a Jozu just yet, but a Jozu would be very, very nice. Let's search the top. We are going to grab a 2K counter because we do not need another Marshall D Teach, in my opinion, because we're going to play a Perona. Start placing on the top of the deck. We are going to Boa out on the board, draw into Jozu on the next turn, stack these characters up like so, and we also got to think about our draw. So we could actually technically play out Weevil. We could have kept the, if we would have kept that Teach or grabbed that Teach, we could have put the Weevil on the top, draw into it, and play out Jozu next. No, we couldn't have because we would have tapped 1 for leader. Okay, so, and then we're going to have to swing leader first. Yep, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to swing 7 with leader. I guess it's going to be 9 with leader. Screw them, 9 with leader. Use the card action. Play out Boa. Start placing on the top because we want to draw into that Jozu. We're going to put 1 Dawn here. We're going to switch these two actually. Well, no, because this is leader effect in case we need to. So 9 into our opponent. Very simple, very easy. We cannot bounce this Boa, so we're not going to. They give us 2 cards out of hand, a 0, 3, and then a 2K. That's cool with me. We're going to draw a card here with the Weevil, and now we have the Jozu to bounce back their Boa Hancock, putting us in a very advantageous position if they choose to play out something large and in charge. We have the Red Rock, and they could technically -4 Dawn to bounce something on the 10 Dawn curve, so they could 10. Ooh, ouch. Where do they go? We're going to free up the board a little bit anyways. We could, law effect, bounce something else, bounce something, whatever. They're going to swing 6 into us. We are going to give them a 2K counter Mihawk here. We have another 2K coming in from the next card of our deck. Play the 9 cost. Ooh, the 9 cost is not going to be fun. So what are we going to do? Red Rock. Boom. Boom, bam, bop. Whatever's at the top is going to be good, so they can't stop. We are going to be able to swing in for 8. We're just going to take hand size here because we don't want to give them another life. They've counted out very aggressively thus far. So what we're going to do is probably swing 8 into Boa. Yep. And then we're going to play out a Mihawk from the top of our deck and get a card out of hand. Boom. Get Mihawk on the board. Get 1 card out of hand. Basically just trying to continue to take tempo from the board. This is a hard matchup because we're both mono blue leaders. They did have a miss all Sunday they got rid of. We put them down to 3 cards in hand after the draw phase. That's going to be okay with us. They do still have 10. They don't have many options. We're trying to not give them options here. But maybe we just go aggro to face. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do in this matchup. I wouldn't know because when do you run into a blue Crocodile deck? Now, the blue Crocodile deck could do a lot whenever they need to, so he could easily just go Dawn -4, totally ignore what is actually on our board, swing into face, and then knock out our Mihawk just by returning it to hand. Now, is that the best option? It looks like it is the best option for them. They also expect us to counter out from life. No way, Jose. We're going to take aggressively. They swing in a face. It looks like they're going to go 10, return, something like that. Or maybe they return their own Sengoku back to hand and return our Mihawk. I didn't expect that. I honestly wanted them to swing the board, but it is what it is. It's exactly as we thought. This is going to take a lot of tempo off the board. They do actually put one of our 1 cost back in hand. I think that was a misplay. You should return your own Sengoku to hand to have more counter, in my opinion. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to Jozu to bounce Boa. Yeah. So we're going to Jozu, bounce. Then we're going to Perona, stack, leader effect. Go from there. All right. So I like bouncing the Sengoku here because we already have the Perona in hand. So what we could do is, that doesn't make sense because, well, we already have the Perona, but that would give them more info on our hand. What we're going to do is bounce. That sounds good to me. We're going to play down the Perona as expected, as we said. And then we could bounce their Sengoku or bounce our own Perona back to hand, but I don't think that's worth it. I think we drawing into this character, then drawing into Sengoku. Ooh, drawing into Boa would be good, but then we lose our counter in hand because they do have a 10-drop 12K. We definitely need some counter here. Then we're going to draw into Boa, stack the top 3 how we need it, and then go from there. All right, so we're going to swing 7. 7 into face, cheating out Weevil, drawing an additional card. We can counter out of a huge swing if they just go for game, but I don't know that we can win on the clapback, especially if you know, it is. We're going to figure it out pretty quickly here. The only issue is if we do actually play down a boa, so they could swing 9 with the leader. If we don't use the bow there, they just bounce it back. Ooh, 12 in the face, we're going to take. 12 into face, we are going to take. This is putting us in a very bad spot. If they have another 10 drop here, it puts us in a worse spot than we were in. So basically, this professional deck guide is not so professional right now. We are getting cooked by this guy, and it's not looking so great, but we're having a fun time. That's what matters. The Gravity Blade earlier was probably a stupid idea. We could have developed the board so much more instead. I'm just really tired. I'm tired of Blue Doflamingo. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I played this deck once at locals. I won locals with it, and it felt not good. I actually technically I lost. I was going against Black Yellow Luffy, and that cooked me. But it is what it is. They're gonna swing into our face. We're gonna counter out aggressively because we need to not die on this next turn, and they can easily bounce our character back. So counter, pretty easy there. I would say so. And now what we can do is choose what we do. That is the beauty of this. We could technically swing in for 6. We could play out Jozu, but Jozu's not going to have much on the board. It's just going to get us in their body. I don't think that's worth it. So what we'll do is Boa, Leader, Sengoku, Law, or Teach, but Teach will just lower our hand size then. Let's stack the deck. We know we're going to go in with Leader effect. Then we could go Teach. Boa first. So now we're going to go for Law. Start placing on the top. Oh, there's a chance of us whipping if we do a Sengoku though after this, because there's 4 Sengokus here. Start placing on the top, return, put it on our leader. We know we're gonna need 3 for that, so we're gonna have a 4 to play here. And we may go for the Law, bouncing both of our own Peronas here. So we swing in for 7, cheat out Law. Ooh, we're already about to bounce both of our characters, so I guess we can just Law and then Law again. Swing in for 7, use card action, play out Law, bounce 2 of our own characters back to hand here, just to get more hand size, because that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9k counter. Basically, we can get out of a 14k swing. We do have to use this Boa blocker early, because if they swing in for 9, we have to use this, sadly. Keep that in mind as we continue this game. What we could here is bounce. We could bounce back our Law to bounce back Sengoku, just so they don't have 3 swings on the board, just in case that matters, but I don't think it does at this point. So we could also just Sengoku, find more 2Ks, but I don't think that's worth it. I think we're just going to get an active body on the board, choose nothing, and pass, because next turn, we got to go for a game, let me tell you. We don't run Roshusa up, we don't have any quick attack options. They could just Gravity Blade here, continue the game going on. Bounce, that's going to be very obnoxious. I don't think that was a correct play, because now they could have just -4 there and done it that way, and then bounce the Boa back. But again, it puts us in that tough spot. They swing in for 12, and then we're going to kind of force them in for going for 11, and then hopefully win on the clap back here. That is the goal, if we so choose to take it. They could also just swing 5. Oh, they go in for 11. So 2k, 1k, 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 1k. So we get out of it pretty easily here. But we need 3 swings to go through. They have 6 cards in hand, and I don't think that's going to happen. They choose to -4 Dawn, actually, and they basically just win the game because of it. So what do? We're going to choose to forfeit. We're going to swing in for 9. We're going to swing in for 10. We're going to look at the top 5 cards, actually. We're going to swing in for 5 into the Kaido. We've been up, and we're being funny at this point. I want you to know that. And then pass. I was trying to say GG's, haha. GG's, haha. Couldn't see GG's. Our opponent definitely was cooking us that game. That deck for Doffy. Why are we getting all the Doffy hard matches? Doffy should not be getting countered this much. GG's, we're at 209.1 million berry bounties, and I guess we're going to play one more match. Final game right now. We're going to choose to go first against our opponent, just because that's what we like. We're going to mulligan. I like the red rock. Mulligan this hand, and we get a Gravity Blade. That's going to be better than what we had, though. We are going to be able to sack on the first turn. It's going to be very good. We're going to draw, leader, draw. I think just having the 2k early may not be bad against a deck like this. They're very aggressive, but we're going to take aggressively anyways in this kind of matchup. And pass. Our opponent is a very good deck right here. Very interesting deck, I should say. Maybe not good. Maybe good's not the best way to say it. We're going to easily swing 7 at life, cheating out a card on the board. Now they have to choose between putting this card into our, removing this card, because we did draw the 2k, if they just swing an easy 6, or they need to swing our face and ignore this guy, or remove it somehow with an effect. Okay, we're sitting at a solid 209 million berry bounty. Where's our boom. Oh, wait, why is it not showing? There we go. So there's our bounty right there. Shown nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and get that off the screen. Get it off my screen. Go back into the game. They're going to swing 7 at face, totally ignoring our board. I like that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that every day of the week, let me tell you. So now what we're going to do, it looks like, is Jinbei. Haha. Man, I miss those days. We're going to swing in for, well, he's a 6k leader, so we're not going to do that. We may just go for a draw 2, trash 2 here, and then play down Boa, get the extra Dawn back. So swinging for 6, draw 2, trash 2, being Josu's going to be very good to remove some smaller bodies later on if we need to. We may actually get rid of the Weevil because we don't have the Teach to pair it with just yet, and then remove the Gecko, because I don't know if we'll need Gecko in this kind of matchup. I actually don't know if we'll even need Law in a matchup like this, because they usually just go for playing big bodies on curve and really try to take over the board that way. So I think we get rid of Gecko. I think we took too long to decide, and I was like, screw it. We're just going for Gecko. Wow. So we've seen, wow, whoa. Not cool. I kind of just want to bottom deck this. Like, it wouldn't be bad to return a card to hand, maybe if we counter out of a 6k swing next turn. Just get a free 2k back, so I guess that's what we'll do. We'll draw into the 2k leader effect, because we'll be on 7. Or we can Gravity Blade if need be. We could also just Josu, bounce Buggy, replay Buggy, kind of restack things. We'll decide later. We're going to swing in for 6 with our leader. Basically just forcing cards out of hand. This Newgate may just take aggressively. I have seen like certain people, like different content creators videos on Newgate specifically, where they choose just to take themselves. We will counter out of this again just to use this card next turn if we choose to. If they swing in for another 6, we'll block and give them a 1k Sengoku probably. And then they'll have 5 possibly going aggressively into our board. Nope, still going into face. We're just going to take, ooh, trigger. We already have a Gravity Blade, so we'll just bottom deck their Sanji. They don't get to draw a card off of it. That's going to be a really good trigger. It would be nice if we could have done that for like an Ace or a Rush Luffy or something, because this card's not going to be fun. They are playing very aggressive here, and so we know we're going to get a 2k back on this next turn, so we're going to block in 2k. I think that's going to be the safest option, because we have the 2k, we're drawing into 1, and then we're getting 1 back next turn. So what we're going to do is swing for 7 into Luffy, cheating out Gecko Moria, returning one of our 2ks to hand. Really just getting more tempo on the board, in my opinion. And then we're going to draw 2, trash 2. Yeah. So let's swing in. Might as well just go face at this point. I mean, he's going to counter out of the Luffy, so if we just go face, we go for more of the game. Deploy, we're going to grab back the 2k counter Buggy. Buggy at least has utility based on the board, getting us on plays. We don't have to worry about losing on plays in this matchup, so we should be good to grab Buggy. They choose to take aggressively here. I like that. I like that a lot. We may just choose not to swing in at all, maybe just playing a character out. I don't love that. We could also just go straight up 8 into the Luffy, because he's going to take the life anyways next turn, more than likely, because he's only going to 8 Dawn. He doesn't really have a way to not take the life. So what we may do is just swing 8 into Luffy here, draw 2, trash 2. We're going to trash another Gecko Moria, and we may keep the Teach just in case we need to bottom something. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to do it. I don't think so. We're going to swing 8, get 2 cards out of hand, then we're going to swing 6. He's going to have to take this next life anyways, so we're really going to force out cards out of hand. We don't really need the Boa blocker, so swing 6. He did drop an Ace and a 0 cost event, showing he probably doesn't have 2Ks, or at least 2Ks he wants to get rid of, maybe, but I don't really know. They give us an Otama. They did have a 2K, but they had no 1Ks they want to get rid of other than the Ace, it looks like. So they may be playing a bunch of big bodies. They may be bricked up. They may just have another Ace that they just were like, throw away the other one because we already have one. And they may be fine with that. Maybe we're fine with that. So the most they can do here is what? 7, 8. So we'll take the first 7. We're going to counter the second 7 and then take the 8. Just because, I mean, they're taking their last life here. More than likely, they're going to go 7, 7, 7. So we will counter out of this as well with the Buggy, just in case they play something small, and we'll give them a Buggy and a Teach, just in case. If they want to swing another 7 here, we should be safe, honestly, to continue to filter a hand. What we can do next turn is Gravity Blade, bottom deck both of their characters, and then just swing in for face. They should probably have a Rad Beam, so I'm okay swinging low on this next turn. Looks like they are just going to swing in for 6 here. We were going to take, but I don't think we do if they're just swinging 6s. Not too worried about a 6 into face. They leave 2 active, so we're going to swing small. The reason being because we are going to Gravity Blade, so we have 2 additional Dawn. So what we could do here is swing face. We could just put everything in a face, but then they get out of it pretty easily. That is why we're going to swing small here. We're going to swing 6. We're going to swing 6 with the Mihawk. Drawing 2, trashing 2. We're going to get rid of Red Rock, because something big like that wouldn't really save him right now, and probably actually the Teach again. Really don't think we need Teach. I would have loved to have found a 2K there, but we did not find a 2K there. We're going to continue swinging small because it's going to force him to have to leave up this Dawn. He gives us a 2K, which is going to be really good, and we're going to put us in a very advantageous position, in my opinion. So if he uses something like a Rad Beam here, we know we're in a very safe spot. He gives us another 2K, so he has 2. Oh, we did not think about that, did we? So I guess we're going to swing in for 5. I forgot he saves himself when he would be bottom decked, forcing another card out of hand, and then pass. Honestly, It's kind of almost best case scenario. I really don't mind that. I need to get rid of that Luffy anyways. We just are so tired. We're not thinking. They choose to play out the Tony Chopper, which is why we kept this Law in hand. Because we can easily bounce this brick back to hand. We know they probably have 2 Radical Beams in hand. I think we just win, unless they have an additional blocker. And even then, I think we probably still just win. So what's going to happen here? They need to leave 2 Dawn active, so it's going to be 2 very large swings. I think no matter what, though, they do just lose the game, unless they can clear... even if they clear 2 bodies, I mean, we just swing over one of the Rad Beams, and we should be able to counter out one of these attacks, depending on where it goes. If they swing 9 here, obviously we can't counter out of that. We need to keep one of these. We need to keep this Law. So we're going to let this character go for 9. He's going to swing 10 into Boa, more than likely. At least that's what I would assume. Maybe 9. He should go into Gecko Moria again because he knows that will hit. He shouldn't go into the Boa, in my personal opinion, but you never know. 9 into face. Whoa. Interesting. We will just take that. Not too stressed about it. So now what we're going to do is play this, bounce our character, bounce this, so we know we can basically just go 6 in a face. That's going to force one of these out if they're all Rad Beams. If they're not all Rad Beams, it's going to put us in a very good spot. They put Divine Departure on the board. We're going to swing in for another 6, and then we're going to swing over top of one of these. So we're going to see if this is actually all he has. Rad Beam. So it looks like it is all he has. What we can do here is swing in for 10. He would need a Rad Beam and a 1K, but we know this is a brick. So if we just swing in for 10, it's guaranteed lethal, even with a Rad Beam, because we knew this was a brick. GG's to our opponent. That one was fun. Whoa, why does it say he won? All right, for some reason on my little thing over here, it said he won. It says loses, quits, won. What? Okay. GG's to our opponent. That was a fun one, actually, against Newgate. So that's going to be it for today's games. I hope you enjoyed. Let's get into the deck profile ending part of the video or whatever and call it a day. That's going to be it for the Blue Doflamingo deck. No, this is probably not the perfect deck list, but I do really like having the 4 red rocks and the 2 gravity blades. Probably need a perfume themer in there as well. I think this is a fun deck list. I think it's really good. It's good mid-range. I think it's missing a few other key pieces like a character to expand the board. Something like that would really help this deck, and I think it's kind of what it needs to really be at that S tier level. Make this almost a 0 tier format, but for some reason, Bandai just doesn't have a card like that for Doflamingo, so not much we can do. Honestly, guys, I am so tired of Blue Doflamingo, so I did not put too much effort in. I tried my best, but I am so tired of this deck. Even with that being said, if you did enjoy, please subscribe, leave a comment, join the Discord down below. I love you and your mama. I hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow we'll be doing either purple or black, giving a actual full deck profile because I care about those colors a lot more than this, than Blue Doflamingo, because we've seen it for way too long now, and you already have enough videos on that. GG's to all of our opponents. I will see you in the next one. Peace.